Everybody, I'm Sonic Sons. This is June 7th, 2007. I'm doing my next video about welfare and, by implication, poor people. So obviously, there are a lot of poor people in the world. Some here in America, a whole lot over in other countries that are less developed, and there's a question about what to do with this. There's the liberal approach, which is to go with some sort of welfare program and to give these people money so they can live. And I'm generally in favor of that. There's the conservative approach, which says that if you just give these people money, then you're inspiring laziness, and, you know, they're just gonna live off of the welfare forever, and that's not gonna help anything. We all believe in the old adage of give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And the idea is thus to come up with some sort of sustainable way of helping people, so that they can eventually help themselves, and it all works out in the long run. I don't know if anybody's quite gotten it yet. I saw this story up on Dig recently called like "Stop Sending Us Aid," and it was this guy in Africa, this like economist or whatever, saying that all the aid we keep sending to Africa is horribly screwing things up. According to this guy, you know, you're sending all this food and stuff, which may be great for a moment, except for the fact that corrupt governments get their hands on the food, distribute it amongst their own tribes so they can get reelected, and then, you know, some of that food ends up on the black market, and once there, it's incredibly cheap because, you know, it was donated for free in the first place, which means that the local farmers can't make any money, which means there's nobody actually locally farming in the first place, which means everyone just kind of starts thinking of themselves as a beggar, which is where we end up on that whole thing. And he says the same thing goes to, like, you know, for any sort of thing. We give out clothes and all the tailors go out of business, and we give out, you know, medical supplies, and then who wants to be, you know, a doctor anymore? You're saying, like, we give out, you know, jobs, for instance, I don't know, some AIDS company needs a driver, he mentioned, right? So he says, well, you know, dozens of people will apply for this job to drive a truck full of food or whatever. And then, you know, they want someone who speaks English, and probably someone who's well-mannered, so you'll end up with, like, this African biochemist driving the truck, you know, when he could be doing some biochemistry and getting Africa sustainable or something like that. To which I say, okay, I understand that. I understand the criticism, not just in Africa, but in America and in any country, criticism of welfare system. The idea that it may reward laziness, I guess. Though, guys, let's be clear about this. Not all poor people are lazy. I mean, some of them are. Some rich people are lazy. I mean, some people at any level of the socio-economic ladder, you'll find laziness at some point, right? Some people work very, very hard, you know? And even though they work very, very hard, you know, they're working like 60 hours a week, and it's just barely enough to feed their family. And if it's just barely enough to feed yourself, then you don't have any chance to pursue education or whatever, and if you can't get education, you can't get a better job, and so you're stuck there, even though you're a hard worker. So please, let's abandon prejudice against poor people, particularly considering that a lot of poor people were born into it. I mean, are you going to blame somebody for being born to the wrong parents? No. No.